Chapter 3. After dinner, Joe and I ran upstairs to our bedroom. It was dark outside now, and time to get ready for bed. Let's lay out all your night things, said Zoe excitedly. We opened my bag together and unrolled my sleeping bag. Do you have a mattress? Asked Zoe. Or shall I ask my mom for one? I've got one, I said, rummaging in my bag, and took out a little velvet pouch. That's just tiny, said Zoe. How can you fit a whole mattress in there? It's a fairy one, I said, opening the pouch and pulling out into the small fluffy pink cloud. As soon as it was out into the air, the cloud began to grow bigger and bigger until it was as big as the double bed and all squishy. Pink Rabbit and Coco immediately leaped up onto it and began to jump up and down. "Oh," said Zoe, "it looks so comfy." "You can share with me. It's you'll like," I said. "That's plenty of room." Zoe pulled the vault of her bed and laid it next to my sleeping bag on top of the cloud. "Oh, this is so exciting," she said. "I love sleepovers." We both bouncing up and down on the cloud for a bit with Pink Rabbit and Coco, as it was so squishy, and then we went into the bedroom to get ready for bed. "Oh no," I said, suddenly remembering something. "I forgot my toothbrush." "Don't worry," said Zoe, opening a drawer underneath in sink. "We have a spray hat." "A spare hat?" I asked. "What do you mean?" Joe handed me a big clunky toothbrush with the buttons on it. "It is electric," she said. I put the spare hand on it. "Press the button." I pressed the button and the toothbrush immediately began to ripple, flush in my hand. "Oh!" I said in surprise. I had never seen an electric toothbrush before. That would be very interesting of this. I tried to squeeze the toothpaste onto the brush, but it was vibrating so fast that bit just kept whizzing right off the splatting on the walls. "Hang on," said Zoe, taking the toothbrush from me and turning it on. "You have to put it in your mouth first before you turn it on." She squeezed the toothpaste onto the brush, and I put it on my mouth and pressed the button. My whole head began to be red and my visions started to shake. But when I had finished, my finger had never felt so clean. "I'll have to tell my dad about this," I said. "He is always interested in new grooming products." "Do you want to have a face mask?" asked Zoe, opening the drawer again and getting on 2 small packets. "I've seen my mom do it. I'm sure she wouldn't mind." She opened a little packet and took out into the wet sheet of paper with 2 holes on it. It was the smells of cucumbers. She put it on a sheet, opened her face so that only her eyes were poking into the holes. "You look like a ghost," I squealed, opening my own pockets and putting the mask onto my face. It was cold and made my cheeks tingle. We both peered into the mirror. "I don't know, why gown ups into these silly things," said Zoe. "We look so fleeky." "Maybe it's because the Starry like dressing up too," I said. "We look like ghosts." She began to dance around, put out into the hands up in the air like crowds. Ooh, wailed Zoe. I'm coming to get you! She chased me out into the bedroom and back across the landing to her bedroom. What's going on up here? Asked Zoe's mom from down below. It's time to get back, girls. Zoe whipped the mask into her face and scrunched up. I did the same, and by the time Zoe's mom came to say good night, and we were both lying quietly in bed, side by side, with Pink Rabbit and Coco suggested between us. Good night, girls, she said, turning off the light and closing the doors. Sleep well. Night, Mom, said Zoe. We lay there into the darkened bed, although it wasn't probably dark because Zoe had a night light and plugging into the walls. We need to stay awake, she whispered, so that we can get up into the night feast. Oh, yes, I said. What shall we have? Cake, suggested Zoe, giggling. We can't eat the cake. I know. I was only joking. Well, have to find something else. Maybe we can eat the rest of the sprinkles. Maybe, I set my mind differently back into the cakes. I was staring to feel a little bit bad. I kept thinking of Oliver and Bruno, and how excited they had been about their dinosaur cake. I knew they would have to put a lot of hard work in it. Joe, I whispered. What? I don't think we should enter out into the competitions. Why not? Said Joe, gathering balls of light into the bed. Of course we should enter our cakes. But we cheated, I said. We used magic. I've been thinking about it all evening. I don't think it would be fair. It was only a bit of magic, said Zoe in a quiet voice. It was more than a little bit, I said. And really, we shouldn't have used any at all. We are having so much fun that we got carried away. But we have to enter the cakes, said Zoe again. We want to meet Weepy Midge Fluff, doesn't we? Well, yes, I said. I really want to win and meet Weepy Midge Fluff, said Zoe, starting to sound a bit upset. Okay, I sighed, not wanting to ruin the sleepover with an agreement. I tried to change the subject instead. How are we going to keep ourselves awake? I asked for a midnight feast. By telling ghost stories, said Zoe, pricking up again and giving a little shiver. She lit a torch and put on under her chin. I'll start, she said, and she began to tell a story. It was about the old woman who trailed the sheets all over the town after dark, dragging chains behind her that clinking and cangling all night long. That sounded a bit unrestful, I said, thinking about my friendly ghost, Oscar, who was leaving me attracted at home. Let me tell you about my real ghost. But Oscar is not scary, said Joe. Ghost stories happen to be scary. That's the point of them. Oh, I said, confused. Never mind, said Joe. Let's talk about the biggest wins instead. Do you know what mine said? To meet Weepy Miss Fluff? Close, but no, said Joe. My biggest wish is that we can stay best friends forever. And then we grew up, we can leave the house next door to each other. Oh, Zoe, I said, that's a lovely wish. I hope it comes true. Zoe smiled and hugged Coco, who was propped up on her arms. What's yours? She asked. We need to keep talking so that we can stay awake until midnight. I said. Let me just think about it. The room went quiet for a moment, and all I could hear was a tick-tock of the clocks. I know, I said at last. Apart from staying your best friend forever, my biggest wish is to become an harmless ballerina and vampire fairy ballerina. But Jo didn't reply. She had closed her eyes and gone to sleep tightly, hugging Coco and Monkey, who had fallen asleep too. I suppose we wouldn't have to be having midnight after all, I whispered to Pink Rabbit. I closed my eyes as well. But it was difficult to fall asleep. A little creaks of noise of the night sounded differently into Zoe's house, and I wasn't used to having a night light in my bed. Also, I was until feeling worried about the cakes and about how we got cheated by using my magic wand. The more I thought about it, the lighter I felt. I was still awake, worrying, when Zoe blew into the dark clock, showed that it was midnight. Quietly, I slipped out in my bed and padded over to the windows. I peered into the dark garden, but couldn't see Dad. Maybe he was forgotten. Then I looked outwards into the sky and saw a black shape soaring towards the house in the light of the finally moon. I opened the door as softly as possible and climbed out, flapping my wings and flying over to meet Dad in the middle of the air. Hey, he said, I thought you wouldn't have to be asleep by now. I couldn't sleep, I told him. We flew off the roof of the house together and sat into the sloped hills, Dad wrapping me in his cape. And we looked at the stars for a while. So tell me why you can't sleep, said Dad. It is because everything is different at Zoe's house? Well, it is different, I said. They have a midnight lights, an electric toothbrush, and a television of the kitchen. But that's not why I can't sleep. Oh, said Dad. We made our cake from the competitions, I explained, but we used my magic wand to make it really incredible. And now, if we win, it will only be because we cheat. And I wouldn't be fair on the others. I don't know what to do, because Joe really wants to enter the cakes. But I don't think we should. I see your problems, said Dad. Do you remember in your cousin Timurable experiencing you're taking a dragon to the school and got into all sorts of trouble? I nodded. Well, this is a humor session, said Dad. I'm important to stand for up into the believe in. If you don't think it's right to take the case into school, then you must let Joe push you into it. Even if she is your best friend and you want to make her happy, I'm sure she knows deep down and that it is what is wrong. Really? I said, feeling loads better. Do you think so? I'm sure of it, said Dad. He smiled and ruffled up my messy hair. Don't tell me a bit more about the electric toothbrushes.